Alright, welcome back. In this video we're going to take a look at our landscape material. We're going to clean it up a little bit, add a couple little features to it, and sort of finalize it and make it, it's going to become a reusable material that we can use on multiple landscapes just by changing out the textures. See you in the video. Thanks for watching. Okay, welcome back. In this section we're going to go back into our open world material and our texture scale material function. We're going to make some modifications here to enhance this and expand it out and make it a little bit better. The first thing that I want to do is go into my texture scale material function, and here where we set roughness to just a 1, I'm going to convert this to a parameter. I'm going to call this roughness. And then save this, and that's all we have to do there. Back here in our open world material function, we will notice now these should have roughness. Change it to a parameter. Default value is 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I don't want to convert that to a parameter. I want to make it an input, a function input. And I want to change the type of function input here to scalar. Call it roughness, and then hook this up to roughness. That's it. That's all we have to do from there. We'll apply that. And now over here on this side, we've got these roughness parameters in these slots. So that's easy to take care of. What we'll do is right click on this and promote this to a parameter called roughness. And again, promote it to a parameter called roughness, and promote this one to a parameter called roughness. Now, what I really want these to be is named by the layer that they're on. So we have this is layer 1. Oh, you know, there's another thing I need to do is hook up these layers. We didn't do that before. So one of the things about this material is, so we've got this automatic material generation thing here based on the slope of the landscape. But we also want to be able to take these materials and paint with them manually, so we can override the auto wherever we want to. And we can do that by hooking these up right here, very simply. And with those hooked up, then in our actual landscape we can paint with these. So we have our roughness. I'm going to move these roughness over here with these parameters because they apply to each layer individually. Move that up a little bit. Excuse me. And move this one over here. Range that a little bit. I do want to rename these layers, so we need to go on to this and rename these layers. I'm going to open these up, and this is going to be, we already named them, yeah, L1. L3. This should be L1. This should be L2. And this should be L3. Okay, so those are named. And then over here on these parameters where I named it texture, I actually want to name it L1 texture, and the normal, I want to name it L1 normal, and then this one can be L1 roughness. And the reason I'm not calling these like rock layer, grass layer, sand layer, and stuff like that, this would be the L2 texture, is because in different material instances for different landscapes, they might be different things. So they're just layers in order of how they come out in the system. L2 roughness. And real quickly, we'll rename these L3 texture, L3 normal, and L3 roughness. And the reason for these roughness layers also is because we're going to do something kind of clever with making some textures, some mud textures that look wet and look like a mud puddle. It looks kind of interesting. So now, having done that and kind of neaten these up a little bit, I actually want to add a couple more layers. We've got three layers. I want to actually add 3 more layers. I want one for I want them for some other things that we can do. So in here, do I want 3 more layers or just 2 more layers? Let's add 1, 2, 3. Let's add 3 more layers. And very quickly, I'll just go down and name them L4, L5, and L6. And then all I'm going to do is take those layers and I'm going to duplicate this whole thing right here. And I'm going to put 3 of them down here. 1, 2, 3. And line these up a little bit. And now it's just a matter of hooking all the wires up, so I'll probably just speed this part up and you can just see me do it because it's... Okay, so that's all done. Over here on our material instance, we have the textures that we set up before. So let's save all these, and what I will do is I will open up the main world and get the shaders compiled, and then we'll take a look at our new material and see how it's working. So I will be back in a few minutes. Actually, a few seconds. Okay, the shaders are all compiled and everything's working just as it was before. We have our rock showing up, but you know, I'm not really fond of this basalt for this scene. I think it's too much basalt, it's too dark, I don't really care for it. I found another texture and I've already made it seamless and all that. So I'm going to go in here into my landscape folder. I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it textures. And we may even replace some of these other textures because I temporarily was using them from the textures that I got from Unreal. So the two textures are these two. I'm just going to drag them in here. I already created them. We've got this rock smooth seamless and rock smooth seamless color and normal. And so let's save those. And now what we can do is go into our material instance, and up here where we have the basalt, L1 normal is ground grass. L1 texture is basalt. So L1 texture needs to be our rock smooth. Wait a minute. Just imported those. Where are they? Rock smooth underscore seamless color. Okay. The level 1 texture needs to be rock smooth seamless color, and the L1 normal needs to be rock smooth seamless normal. The level 2 is supposed to be the gravel, and it is. The L2 normal in texture. The L3 normal is the grass. Okay, I don't know what happened up there. Got one kind of confused. So we can save that, and now there shouldn't be any compiling of there should be no compiling of shaders, because all we changed was the material instance. And there we go. We've completely changed the rock and completely changed the look of this. So I think those are much better textures. We've got a few more textures that I want to add into here, yeah, we'll all we have to do now, because this is all compiled, we've got this material instance, we can add additional textures into L4, L5, and L6 without any problems, and just set them how we want. So that's pretty much it for our landscape material. We shouldn't have to mess with that anymore. We have the ability to make these different layers of texture on our terrain, on our landscape, and things are looking pretty good. Next, what we're going to do is work on creating our third-person character for this. And I think instead of having just a first person, what I'd like to have is a third-person character, and switchable between third-person and first-person mode. So I'll see you in the next video. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. We cleaned up our texture, we renamed some things, and got it all wired up. We've got 6 layers in it now, 7 actually. We've got the first layer is the auto layer. The next 3 layers are the layers that the auto layer uses, and then we can override those with the materials, or the textures rather, in the other layers. We'll get to that shortly. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get notifications when I upload a video, hit that notify button. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.